Okay, today we are celebrating Earth Day 2025, and our very own Rotarian club member Darren Swanson will deliver an urgent dual message of sustainability and resilience to better navigate the current socioeconomic and environmental turmoil and reset our global and local economies onto a better path. In doing so, Darren will preview the latest statistics. And so I'm a data guy, so I'm very excited about that part on the health of the planet, and will draw on insights he has gained through 25 years of supporting global and local organizations, from the International Institute for Sustainable Development and the United Nations to municipalities and remote First Nations communities here in Manitoba. Darren Swanson is a member of the Rotary Club. As I mentioned, he is a sustainability and resilience consultant, author, trainer, and speaker working out of his Winnipeg-based international consultancy, Novel Futures. He was co-editor and author of the 2009 book, Creating Adaptive Policies, a guide for policymaking in an uncertain world. It was uncertain already then, and is a graduate of Harvard University's Kennedy School of Government and the University of Saskatchewan, Civil and Geoenvironmental Engineering. Darren's debut fiction novel, another book, Towers of Hiva, is in stores now. Epic and cautionary story of two lost civilizations, one perilously lost in the present, yes, the US and modern global economy, and the other tragically lost in the past, Easter Island, Rapa Nui, each on their journey to find peace, freedom, sustainability, and resilience. Part fact, part fiction. You'll be amazed to discover which it is. So this is the intro that I can give, and I look forward to Darren's presentation this evening. Darren.
Well, thank you very much, Peter. And it is a pleasure to be here celebrating with Rotary Club in Winnipeg on this Earth Day, and especially so doing so on Treaty 1 territory and the homeland of the Red River Métis, and where we get our life-sustaining water from Shoal Lake 40 First Nation. Happy birthday, Earth. Officially April 22nd next week. A young 4.6 billion years old is Earth next week, and I thought I was getting up there, but that's pretty impressive. It's well, you can see it's such an amazing place. You can see it here in the backdrop. It's a truly amazing planet, which we'll see and hear about. And it's amazing to think that it's hurtling through space at 67,000 miles per hour right now. That's hard to fathom, that we're moving that fast right now. And that out here in this dark area, it's actually minus 270 degrees Celsius. And we complain about cold. So an amazing place we have here to celebrate on Earth Day. And also, too, I guess, thank you to the moon. Thank you, Mother Earth, for the moon. We do enjoy looking up into the skies to observe you in the evenings, at night. That's amazing. And thank you also for the atmosphere, the life-sustaining atmosphere that we have here. Thank you, Mother Earth, for that. So we're celebrating that today. I have a question for people, just to get a sense for our amazing atmosphere. And you could put this in the chat space if you want. If you could drive your car straight up right now at 100 kilometers an hour, how long do you think it would take you to reach outer space? So we're used to long drives here on the prairie landscape, getting to, Regina in about 6 hours at about 100 kilometers an hour. Brandon in a couple of 2.5 hours. How long do you think, if you drove straight up into the sky at 100 kilometers an hour, how many
Darren,
hours would it take you to get into space?
Darren, I'm going to say less than an hour.
You are exactly right on the mark. It is about 100 kilometers, essentially, to get up into space. That's the demarcation line. So it would only take you 1 hour. This is a razor thin atmosphere that we have right now. And it's what is sustaining us. So about 4.6 billion years ago, yes, we had the atmosphere starting to form from volcanoes, from changes in landmass, outgassing from all the eruptions. Even comets were crashing into Earth and asteroids and helping out with the actual atmosphere. And then photosynthesis happened, and we got an atmosphere about 2.5 billion years ago, essentially. So Mother Earth, thank you for the atmosphere. It's actually quite amazing, and we wouldn't be here without it. So what, okay, now, thank you for your amazing oceans. So if you can see right now in the backdrop, if you were to fly into Earth from outer space at this angle, you would see the Pacific Ocean, and you would see mostly blue ocean, just about all ocean. It's quite spectacular. And we call it the blue planet. So thank you, Mother Earth, for this amazing ocean. What a view. What a view it is. And thank you, Mother Earth, for the amazing creatures. In fact, we can thank Mother Earth for 2.2 million species in our oceans right now. And if we had some kids watching earlier, this is, of course, you might recognize this is Crush from Finding Nemo. And amazing, amazing sea creatures, 2.2 million species. But we also have to thank Mother Earth for the forest cover. We have a little over a third of the habitable land area on the entire planet covered by our amazing forests. We have our temperate forests, our boreal forests that we have here in Manitoba, and we have rainforests covering, imagine, a third of the planet's surface covered by amazing forest. Wow, inside our forests, we have Mother Earth to thank for the amazing creatures. We have about 6.5 million species on Earth, and that's pretty incredible. And in fact, 80% of those species live in our forests that cover a third of the Earth. So pretty incredible just to think of the biodiversity of life on Earth with the 6.5 million species on land and the 2.2 million species in the oceans. It's really quite incredible. And we also have to thank Mother Earth for being home to our 8.2 billion people right now, for being a wonderful home, keeping us protected from the minus 270 degrees Celsius space temperature from our razor thin atmosphere that only would take an hour to drive through if we could drive straight up. So really, quite an amazing place is Mother Earth. How lucky we are to be here. And so just a big happy birthday on this Earth Day for being you, for Mother Earth. But there's always a but. We owe Mother Earth an apology. We have an apology to make. We have to say sorry for the actual 1.2 million pieces of space junk that are now orbiting Earth. About 50,000 of those greater than about 10 centimeters, to the point where it's dangerous actually now to be traveling through Earth orbit. The European Space Agency right now is actually calling for a cleanup of our orbit right now, if you can imagine that. And unfortunately, even if we create just no new space debris, there's enough space debris up there that when it starts to collide, it could become something that we can't clean up. This is hard to imagine when you think about it, but yeah, this is space, and it's it's polluted. So apologies to Mother Earth for that. We have also another apology to make to Mother Earth. We do need materials to create shelter and like, but we are losing 10 million hectares of forest every year on the planet for agriculture land, for materials. That's a huge, huge rate of loss. We also have to apologize for the plastic pollution that is increased considerably since about 1950, when we produced about 2 million tons of plastic per year for things that we need for packaging food and for a lot of things that we do need and use. But now, not 2 million tons per year, but now we produce about 450 million tons per year of new plastics. And so we have to apologize to Mother Earth for that, and the fact that we only really recycle about 10% of that each year. Recycling is getting better, but that is a small piece of the big picture. So apologies. We also have to apologize. You've created a wonderful home for us, but we have to apologize because with all these resources that you've provided us, we have not been able to find a home for everyone. And we have to apologize for using your precious materials on the earth to synthesize substances like opiates that are creating problems for many people. So lots to apologize for, Mother Earth. It's your birthday. And so we would like to, I guess, do a bit of a health check. And so that's what I want to do here. And just give me a second so I can read what's on the screen here. This is a health check. This is called the planetary health check. And the Stockholm Resilience Center in Sweden does this and produces a regular health check of the planet. And so let's take a look at a health check of Mother Earth right now, just to get a better snapshot before we sort of take a look at some treatment options. So the planetary health check, and I'll put this actually in the chat space. I'll put the address in the chat space for people that are online and watching. And I'll just kind of put that link. So it's actually a nice, useful link for everyone. So this planetary health check takes stock of 9 planetary boundaries. Okay. And let's take a look at each of those. These 9 planetary boundaries are the really important things that Mother Earth that we keep track of to make sure the health of the Earth is being watched well. One of the first things it takes a look at is called ozone. So we see the ozone right over here. If I could point to it, if you could see it, the ozone is described right over here in this diagram. Ozones and aerosols. So Mother Earth, we know that you have an ozone layer, and it protects us from a lot of the radiation from the sun. Without it, we would be in real harm's way. Prior to 1987, the ozone layer was on track to a point where it wasn't going to be able to protect us. But thankfully, in 1987, a treatment plan was put in place in the Montreal Protocol through the United Nations. And in fact, the planetary health check right now, as you can see for ozone, is green right now. So right now, the Montreal Protocol since 1987 has actually reversed the depletion of the ozone the hole in the ozone layer. And thankfully now that boundary, that planetary boundary, that health check, Mother Earth, I'm happy to report, is in a status that is in a safe operating space, which is the green area you see in the middle of this planetary boundary checklist, this planetary health checklist. So that's good news. Aerosols and ozone layer is doing well. Ocean pH, ocean acidity is another thing that the boundaries take a look at, if I can point to it correctly. And that is, well, it's in a safe space, but it's kind of moving in a little bit of the wrong direction right now. So ocean acidification is obviously sort of happens naturally through absorption of carbon dioxide from the atmosphere. So it's a bit of a natural process, but when it does start to accelerate as it can, then the acidity of the ocean increases, and that's harmful. It causes a calcifying effect to ocean organisms and marine ecosystems, and and the ability of the ocean to act as a carbon sink. So this is pretty important. Mother Earth, we are keeping track on that. It's in a safe space right now, but it's kind of crossing into a little bit of not good territory. So we'll have to keep an eye on that. So nutrients is the next thing on the list you'll see in the planetary health check down at the bottom. And you'll see from a lot of the red, so the green space in the middle is the safe space on this vital sign checkup. And we know that nutrients locally are a problem. And we see it in the green and the algae blooms on Lake Winnipeg here. But nitrogen and phosphorus both are two essential elements that help animals and plants to live and grow. But when we do have human activity that puts too much into the environment through industrial agriculture and not capturing it through wastewater treatment, it does become an issue. And these things are out of sync around the world right now. And so this one is quite far out of the safe space, creating a lot of dead zones in water bodies around the world. So this one is not in good shape right now. And we see this happening in some of our local water bodies right now. So we know locally that this is something that is happening. Okay, let's go through the rest of the health check here, and I might just do a few more here so we could get to some treatment plans for these conditions we're experiencing. Freshwater systems, you'll see on the diagram, that's obviously vital for just the basic biodiversity of the planet and our food systems. We rely on our fresh water, our blue water, our rivers and lakes, and our green water, which is in the soil, our soil moisture that is that exists. We withdraw about 75% or 70% of the fresh water that we do withdraw goes to irrigation. So we use a lot for food. And then we have industry using about 20% of freshwater withdrawals around the world, and households using about 12%. So we are using water for various purposes. But this is right now outside of the safe space that the scientists have set for fresh water around the world. So this one is just in that sort of zone, right sort of at the precipice. Okay, land use, moving around the health check. Land use deals with how we use the land. And globally, the remaining forest areas in our temperate forests, our boreal and our rainforest areas have fallen below the safe levels, according to the scientists. And we mentioned before, about 80% of those 6.5 million species in the world live in our forests. So this is a big deal. And we rely on our forests for a lot of services, from medicines, traditional medicines, to habitat, to filtering even our water, and to providing sort of materials, and also for our enjoyment to relax and our mental health. So we talked a bit about the forest, the deforestation rates before. So this one is not in the safe space right now. So that's quite critical. Biodiversity story, moving on to the rest of the health check here. This one is really getting outside the safe space. The has, well, the world right now, the World Wildlife Fund reports that the world has seen a 68% drop in mammal, bird, and fish and reptile and amphibian populations since 1970. 68% drop in the population, wildlife population. It's really quite dramatic. And a lot of that is due to a lot of the habitats disappearing through our expansion of spaces to live and to grow food. So the genetic diversity is at risk right now, and also the decline of the forest is reaching an unsafe levels, according to the scientists. You'll see pollution up there that is now exceeding the safe levels that you see in the diagram here, and that's the things from microplastics, which are now found in our bloodstreams, in breast milk, and at the bottom of the ocean. And the synthetic forever chemicals that we're producing are found in the food we eat now, unfortunately, and even the clothing that we wear. So, health check. Now we're at the climate at the top. Our Earth's climate. So countries of the world got together to try to reach an agreement in Paris to limit the increase in our temperature due to global warming, the amount of carbon dioxide that we put in the atmosphere, to limit the increase in global warming to no more than 1.5 degrees Celsius warmer than what we're used to in the past. As of 2023, the health check, we're the average global mean temperature has now climbed to an increase of 1.45 degrees Celsius. So we've almost reached that limit already. And more carbon dioxide into the atmosphere is going to mean a warmer planet and temperatures to rise, and the impacts, more extreme weather, leading to more wildfires, floods, and drought, and heat waves. Okay. Sorry for that health check. That was not a great health check for Mother Earth. But we have a treatment plan in place, and that is good news. And that treatment plan is the 2030 Agenda for Sustainable Development, and its 17 global sustainable development goals. So in 2015, the world got together, all countries, 195 countries got together to agree on a treatment plan for Earth and the people that live on it, to help the 8.2 billion people, and to help the health of the planet and the economy and society. This is the first time in human history we've had a plan, a treatment plan for people, planet, posterity, and peace. It's a pretty big deal. So that's underway. So health of the planet and the populations in it, not a great health check, but there is a plan, and many others that are trying to help out. Fortunately, as of 2023, the report on this is that 36 of the targets reviewed in the report, of which there's over close to 200 targets, only a couple were on track. Of the 36 that were reviewed, only a couple were on track to be achieved by the progress. So progress is very slow on the treatment plan, and we have to apologize to Mother Earth and the people on it for that. And we also have to say sorry that with only 5 years left in this treatment plan, the world's wealthiest country has decided that it's not in its best economic interest to continue with this treatment plan. And so it is decided, and to be the first country to say that we no longer want to support this treatment plan as of last month, and which is extremely disappointing news given the state of everything. But there is a plan. And just very lastly, things are changing a lot, of course, in the world. And so the countries of the world got together through the United Nations also to create what's called the Sendai Framework for Disaster Risk Reduction. And that is to help the people living on the planet to be more resilient to all of the hazards that could occur, either naturally through earthquakes, for example, or unnaturally through increases in flooding events and wildfires exacerbated by a warming climate. But there's a plan there as well to help the people living on the planet. And that plan gives you access to dials that can help you. So individuals and households and businesses and governments could use this plan. And by reducing your risk to a lot of these hazards, whether it's flood, wildfire, extreme heat, or even pollution risks, you can reduce your exposure to certain risks. For example, flooding, for example, it's perhaps when you're purchasing a property, looking for a less flood prone area, that can reduce your exposure. You can also reduce your exposure to in various ways, including using infrastructure like the wonderful floodway we have around Winnipeg that protects us. That helps reduce exposure. We can also reduce our vulnerability to floods, for example, by doing things that help us to be more resilient to floods or less vulnerable. So if you have a sump pump in your basement in a flood prone area, that can help you out, for example, to kind of make it a less of an issue when it is happening. So there are a number of dials that you can access to help reduce your risk, and that's good. And the countries of the world are working to help governments and the public to implement a lot of these practices. But of course, one of the biggest ways to reduce our risk to a lot of these hazards, like extreme weather, is to reduce the hazard itself. And so by limiting, for example, the amount of carbon dioxide that we put into the atmosphere through the burning of our fossil fuels and from fossil fuel-based engines, we can help to reduce the extent to which the climate is warming, and that can help reduce our risk and the exposure to more wildfires and floods in the future. So we have a plan, a treatment plan to help people living on the planet as well. I think that more than does it time-wise. Peter, I think I'll look to you now to bring us back to the planet Earth view. And I think you might want to open up to, I guess, a few questions if there is any time. But thank you very much for this opportunity. Sorry for some of the bad news. That is the way it is right now. We have some apologies to make to Mother Earth and the people living on it. But we do know what to do. We just need to now do it.
Okay, well, thank you for this presentation. And yeah, do we have questions?
Observation. I have an
Okay.
observation. First off, Darren, thank you for this very concise and very understandable presentation. My observation is the more that we can get individuals aware of how to protect themselves, I think that is probably the best thing that we can work on. We're all very, very aware of what's happening. Our neighbor to the south and how they're just sweeping all these things aside. And I think the best thing we can do is, and I appreciate your comment on this, best thing we can do is to alert as many individuals as possible so that they can take steps to protect themselves as individuals. So I'll look for your comments, please.
Yes, there's definitely two sides to the coin to this whole issue of what's happening around the world. One of it is about sustainability. I guess that would be a picture like this, is looking at the types of things we need to do to really help sustain planet prosperity, peace. And that's about, looking and striving for no poverty, zero hunger, quality education, equity, clean water, clean land, innovation, good jobs for people, the whole span of things. So one side of the coin is sustainability. And as you mentioned, John, the other side of the coin is about resilience, about making ourselves and our communities more resilient to a lot of the hazards, a lot of the risks that are out there, whether they're economic risks or biological risks like pandemics, or physical risks now like climate change and wildfires and flood. These are things we need to be investing in, but with sustainability at the same time. Sustainability and also building resilience. This is two parts. It's two strands of the DNA and two sides of the same coin, so to speak.